You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Cup year?
Cup year.
Cup year.
Cup year.
Cup year. Let's get into it with the lead. Welcome into another Stanley Cup Final edition of Oilers Nation Everyday, coming to you live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online, sportscloset.ca. I know you're itching to get some fresh threads ahead of the big series coming up, I think is what we have to call it.
The big game.
The big game. Our friends at Sports Closet can absolutely hook you up. And when I go to their website, sportscloset.ca, Blue Jays City Connect gear. Might have to get one of those hats. I think the hats are cooler than the jerseys. Also, they do have Western Conference Champs merch up at Sports Closet. Hello. Hats, hoodies.
Everybody.
Ooh, they have the Stanley Cup Final patch on pre-order.
Really?
Interesting. It's pretty cool. We're going to get to see an Oilers jersey with the Stanley Cup Final patches on there.
Yeah, that'll be nice, actually, won't it?
Be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
First time in our lifetime, we can finally stick it to that LA Kings fan.
Oh, yeah, the guy.
Time.
Yeah, you've never seen a cup
lifetime.
final. I've never seen.
Do you know what I was thinking about last night, actually? Was that Dallas Stars fan that was running down the street in a Miro Heiskanen jersey after game 2 and was like, we'll be back here up 3-1.
Best road team in the league. Best road team in the league.
Won 1 road game out of 3.
Hey, nerd. Suck it.
Probably watching.
All right. A bunch of stuff we're getting to today. Jason Demers in 28 minutes. Actually, knowing him, he's going to show up in 15 because he's so excited.
Yeah.
And he'll just start texting me saying, let me in, which is behind the scenes, usually what Demers does for his hits. If you haven't noticed, I'm always like, Demers is coming up at 12:30. Then it's like 12:17. And I'm like, well, let's get to the Star Mechanical guest line. Also, 1 o'clock, Rafi Torres.
Whoa!
Pew, 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 pew.
Rafi Torres on the show. Who would have thought?
Who'd have thought? We're confirmed with them, right? AB's working hard behind the scenes to get this thing all set up. Man, it's the Stanley Cup playoffs, and when you find out at 11:46 that you can have Rafi Torres on the show at 1 o'clock, you make everything happen. So AB's working hard to make sure we can get connected with Rafi Torres at the top of the hour. All right, there are a couple of things I want to get to. First off, AB, you have the look on the Sports Closet site of what they got up.
Yeah.
Let's just give some love to the Sports Closet website. Hell yeah, look at that. The shirts, the hats on pre-order, the cup. Oh, go back to the cup final patch.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no, you hit the wrong thing. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Show us the cup
go.
final patch. You know what? We'll look at the shirt. That's good enough. Western Conference Champs. Feels good to say it. Feels good. I know, like, again, everyone's going to get some. Do you think it's a faux pas to wear it during the cup final? Is it something you get and maybe you wear further down the line?
Pajama shirt, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing. Me, I'm not superstitious. I'm incredibly superstitious.
Are you actually?
Not as superstitious as Connor McDavid, but also my dad told me I can't watch the game. Couldn't watch the game with him the other night because I hadn't watched games 4 and 5 of them. But no, I don't think it's that crazy. Wow, $25. What a deal.
What a deal. Bargoon.
So would you sew that on yourself? Is that for like a jersey?
I'm getting a
patch?
whole new one
I'm getting a whole new jersey, yeah.
from the Sports Closet.
Mm-hmm. We're coming in, Sports Closet. All right. There's a couple things I want to get to. We'll call it like a 3-part checklist. And I don't even want to spend too much time on all of these, but I will. First off, if you have a chance, send some love Luke Gazdik's way.
Why? What happened?
He's taken a lot of shit from Canucks fans, and may I add, it is undeserved. All he did was call them out for being assholes to him online, and they've responded by doing what, Liam?
They're being assholes to him online.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We love Gaz. We love that we have Gaz on this show. I think Gaz is one of the best up-and-coming voices, panelists, analysts in the sport. His podcast is killer. We absolutely love him. So send love to Gaz because he's coming to E-Town, baby. And we're going to have him on that couch. If we will do whatever it takes.
And I'm with him.
I'm
Those
also
fans
with him.
suck.
Canucks fans are
They
brutal.
were the
fans
worst.
Out there tweeting about it. It was like, we're not like that. Yes, you are.
Also,
and I will put a blanket statement out there because
you should have been in some of these
genuinely they
after dark
suck.
chats, man. It was
Yeah,
nuts.
they're awful.
well, they're terrible. I witnessed it firsthand what they do, and you don't hear those same stories coming out of Edmonton. We don't have them coming out of Dallas, like all that
LA
stuff.
wasn't even that bad.
No.
Not even close.
Also, we're going to sit here and not that I even really want to open this can of worms. We're going to do the whole, you need to be unbiased, blah, 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 blah. The Sportsnet reporter in Vancouver, Dan Murphy, what did he post the other day? Oh, a picture of him golfing with JT Miller and Nikita Zadorov, just casually out for a round of golf. That's unbiased. That's not going to seep into your coverage at all of, one of those two guys needing a new contract in the next month.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a break. There's nothing I hate more. And listen, this is the shit we heard from, I'm not going to, old guard's a bad way to do it, but the people who were in the media industry, when we were coming through radio school and getting our starts, all you heard, you can't be a fan. You got to let the fan side of you die, right? And there's always this kind of like mightier than thou mainstream media. I'm not a fan. I don't care about the team. It's all bullshit for the most part. Also, new age media, the reason there are people watching this show right now is because guess what? People want to hear good, objective Oilers talk from people who are in the fight with them.
Yeah.
So this whole you can't be a fan. Luke Gazdic literally put together a 2-minute highlight package at one point of the Oilers diving and called them out for it.
Called him McDavid diving. I just can't be dealing with it. And the people out there, like some shows out there putting out tweets about it and everything, it's just like completely unnecessary.
It's embarrassing.
And it's just like, grow up.
It's embarrassing.
But to be fair, they've been out of the Stanley Cup playoffs for a while now. So they're searching for headlines wherever they can find them.
And
so you're welcome, Canucks fans,
also
for giving you that.
If the Oilers would have lost Game 7 in some weird alternate world, they lose Game 7 to the Canucks, would we be sitting here right now saying, is Kevin Bieksa allowed to be allowed to work Hockey Night in Canada games anymore? Do we have to discuss Kevin Bieksa a little bit? God damn, get over it, Canucks fans. Get
into Elks talk.
We'd be talking about the fact the Stingers are 4-0, baby.
Yeah.
Speaking of which.
Finally.
Tarps off?
I was like, are we doing this?
Your emojis just came on the screen. Now they blocked
It's an Edmonton Stingers game day, so you know I'm repped up for the Stingers.
Who do they play?
They are playing
the Vancouver Bandits.
The Vancouver Bandits tonight, Liam. Very good.
The rivalry continues.
Stingers looking to go 5-0. Tune in later on in the show when you can win a chance to not just go to the game tonight, but you and a friend will be sitting next to our boy Aaron and a friend. You'll be enjoying $5 beers and the $5 concession menu that they have out at the Stingers game. So giddy up. Go Stingers.
Go Stingers, go. I'm excited. I've not been to a game before.
I know. And you and I are going to be in Florida for the next game as well. But we'll get to a game. We will, I promise you this, at one point over the season, we will do a giveaway that's go to the Stingers game with Liam and I.
Okay. Sounds
Deal?
good.
Dealio, homie?
Stingers games are a lot of fun.
Stingers games are a lot of fun. All right. So we'll give away those tickets a little bit later on. Okay, I talked about the Gazdic thing. We're just going to leave that now. It is no longer. We're moving on. Connor McDavid video.
I couldn't watch.
I can't bring myself to watch the full thing, but here's what I'll say. Don't be weirdos. That goes, and I don't think anyone in this chat, anyone who consumes this show, anyone who's like a real, true diehard of the Edmonton Oilers, I don't think they act that way to Connor McDavid. This is the result of the team's going on a great run, all of that. And to maybe like those people were obviously being way too weird, but it was from a good place.
I don't know. I didn't watch. I skipped through. I didn't listen to what the guys had to say, but I saw videos of someone sat in his trunk and then there was another guy blocking him getting in the car.
It rattled me to watch.
And it's just uncomfortable. At the end of the day, Connor McDavid is a human. His fiance was there with him. I don't think those guys are trying to be aggressive by any means, but just take your crappy little video, walk next to him, whatever.
Tell him you love him and go away. Ask him for a picture and then go away.
There's a level of personal space that was way intruded on. He was sitting in the back of his vehicle.
What did he say? What did McDavid do?
Not a lot.
Did he say anything?
Not really. You could tell he was uncomfortable, but he didn't say anything, and he was cordial and whatnot, being a good thing. I said the point that I wanted to make. Look at how much booze he's buying. That's a leader. That's your captain. Hopefully, he was throwing the after party.
Well, okay, and that is great. I love that Connor McDavid goes, boys, my place. We won't make hot tub jokes because we know Connor hates those. But boys, my place. Everyone gets to turn in the cryogenic chamber that I have in my room. We're going to be ready to go for the cup final, and we're going to crush 1 million beers, and it's all on me. See you guys there. I'll bring, the Coors Lights and whatever seltzers I'm sure they drink. Yeah. Connor, just man-to-man here. Maybe just get it delivered next time. You just won Game 6 of the Western Conference Final. You know what? You know who would have been happy to do it? Our boy Andrew Peard probably would have been like, you know what, Connor? I'm going to take this. Connor, you make 12 and a half a year. Get a runner.
Connor, I'll come if
I would have done it.
Yeah. Like, I feel bad because Connor was uncomfortable and Lauren was there. And I'm sure it's such a shitty thing for him to have to. It probably brought down his vibe very hard that night.
Yeah.
Those were obviously fans. It wasn't like that time he went out for dinner and remember people were screaming bullshit at him and whatever.
West Ed.
Yeah. It wasn't that, which is good. At least it came from a place of they loved Connor and they just wanted to get close to him and talk to him and have an interaction with him. They were obviously weirdos. I'm not trying to like fully exonerate them. Be better than that if those people are watching. But Connor, you just won Game 6 of the Western Conference Final, my guy.
Yeah.
Maybe you just get the booze dropped off. Maybe you have a connection. Rogers, just go to whoever and be like, hey, I'm very wealthy. Can I just buy 100 Rogers beers and can you throw them in the back of my car? Do a little off sale here.
Sure, there's some crates you could just buy before you leave the ring.
Yeah.
You know? But that's the thing is, like, if you're in that situation, we all love the Oilers, of course. Just like put your phone away, maybe as well. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Connor would be, or any of the others would be more open to having a conversation with you if you didn't have your phone waved in their face. Because, like, what is he supposed to do in that situation, right? Like, if he gets aggressive, which if he did, rightfully so, they're literally on.
But they're filming him the whole time.
It's going to be such a terrible look for him. He's going to get asked about it today.
Yeah, probably.
So I'll be curious to see his answer on that. And
he will answer it a beautifully plain way, the way Connor does, right?
I don't know. I could see him. I guess. Maybe I'm thinking too differently about it, but it's not the first time. We've had some great moments with Connor and fans. Let's not forget about the famous airport picture.
That was very awkward.
It's very awkward.
Connor doesn't like being touched. And you know what? None of us do. And wait, there was a good comment from Evan. Here's the lesson we'll take from this. Oh, no, that wasn't the right one.
But fair.
Don't touch people you don't know. Can we all just kind of agree to that one right there? And just if you see someone in public and you're like, hey, maybe they're famous or whatever. I don't know them. I'm not going to touch them.
Ty, how would you feel if some guy just came up to the back of the Nation truck and sat in it while you were loading your stuff up with your lady? Not great.
Yeah, no, it would be weird. It would be weird. So yeah, don't touch people you don't know. And Connor McDavid, I mean, yeah, I feel for him in that situation because he's just trying to outdo his thing. At the same time, Connor, I'm telling you, you are only going to get more famous in life.
Especially when you win the Stanley Cup this year.
Get your booze delivered, buddy.
Good video, though, from the flip side of that relationship. Lauren, Kyle, and the Wags. Did you see that one?
She posted a bunch of stuff of them celebrating in the booth.
Yeah, that was cool to see. Much better than what the Dallas Wags were doing. They were basically
on their phones.
Sat in the box acting like they didn't want to be at the game.
Yeah.
So, good to see.
Will the Wags have another version of their Wag jackets for the Cup Final?
Well, that is a layer we're going to have to dive into on these days off.
Let's get to our fashion expert now.
Aaron.
They're good.
They're good.
They actually are styling. Right. But sorry, just on that.
Yeah.
The Winnipeg Jets Wag jackets. Those are pretty cool, if I do say so myself. I'm good now, yeah. All fashioned out.
Next one I wanted to get to because you better believe this shit's going to go viral before Game 3. This one, as your friendly neighborhood Rogers Place bartender, please don't take it out on the bar staff if prices are raised again for the final round. You better believe they will be because they raised them for the playoffs. It was a small raise. I think it was like 75 cents or $1 a beer. And then they also bumped up the wine and the mixed drinks a little bit. And I remember last year before the playoffs, if memory serves correct, that's when they took away the option. You used to be able to get a 16 or a 20 ounce beer. And now I think you can only get the 24 ounces. That's what they did last year. It's like you only get the massive ass draft beers and they charge you whatever, $17 from them. Because you used to be able to get like a $12 or $13 16 ounce draft beer. They jacked up the price, or it was like $10, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's too bad.
The watch party's $20 now. Yeah, that also sucks.
To get in?
Yeah, I think it's for the one in the arena. I think it was 10 before.
Why? You know, it was 5.
It was 5. Yeah.
That is ridiculous. Like, I know there's not a lot of money for some people, but like the $5 thing gave like the ability for like basically anybody to go and just like have a good time. And it was full every time. Like, I hate it when they do that stuff. Like the 75-cent thing, like whatever, like that's 75 cents, but like that's 4 tickets for one game previously.
Yeah.
And now you want to take a family, it's $100 night.
Yep. If you're a mom and pop trying to bring your 2 kids, all of a sudden it's costing you $80
You
to go
can't
to the watch
afford
party.
the real home game, so you want to do one of those ones, kind of get the same experience, but now you can't.
And the thing is too,
Good job, Oilers.
the Oilers fans have been so great.
So good. And
Like,
you can't reward them with this.
Exactly.
And also the whole like, oh, it's for the community foundation, net proceeds. What did that study that came out say?
Oh, I don't know.
It was like 5 years ago or whatever, but it was like, 50 cents of every dollar ends up going because they do their admin fees and pay people. Blah, blah. Like, it's such a farce,
Just
man.
do a 50-50 during that game, the watch party game, and be like, you can only do this one in here. You can only win the 50-50 at the watch party.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Like, that would work. But instead, they're going to rent. And I know, don't get me wrong, like $20 isn't a ton of money, but like,
But if you're a family of 4 who's
That's a
like,
big
man, I want to
increase.
take my 13, 14-year-old and let them experience the atmosphere and watch those in the Cup Final. I remember going to one of those watch parties when I was a kid, and I think like my whole baseball team when I was 9 years old went and watched one of them, and it was cool. It's a memory I still have to this day, watching Chris Pronger score the penalty shot goal in Game 1 at Rexall Place, and to see them again pricing out families who might not be able to afford it now, because again, like, and this isn't to even have a bigger conversation, but like, again, you've made it now not cheap. $80 before you get food and drink, and you're going to bump up the prices of concession because we know that's what they do.
And parking.
Well, yeah, and you got to find a place to park. You got to get there. Like, it's a whole thing, right? It's really unfortunate to see them do that. Chelsea says tier 1 fans only, and yeah, I mean, like, going to a Cup Final game is going to be insanely expensive. There are people who will, not be doing vacations this year because they want to go to one Stanley Cup Final game as well, and to see the Oilers be like, and we're going to raise beer prices.
I actually have been to one watch party, and I've actually boycotted them since. Not for the prices, but the fact that the Oilers are 7-1 to the San Jose Sharks was the one I went to. I was like, probably not going to come back here.
Mistaken Mexican. Parking got jacked up for the playoffs too. Like,
of course it did.
Yeah, and the ticket prices are, I think just going off face value, I think you're up 5 times the cost for your Cup Final based on what your face value was in the regular season. That's insanity. That's insanity. It puts a damper on things a little bit, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like, you want to stay here, and like, I mean, I've always kind of had this take, but like, I want the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup so damn bad, man. It will be the highlight of my life. We'll be watching them potentially win this Stanley Cup right here. Because if they go on and they win another one under Connor, it'll be great. But like, something about your first. And I'll be so happy for the city. I will be elated that we'll get to sit here and talk about it. And everyone who tunes into this show, I'll be so happy that you'll get to enjoy it. There is also a part of me, and this is where we'll go back to fully positive after I say this line, but there is a part of me that will not be happy for the organization.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Dave Lund put in there. Tyler and Liam won't be getting any favors from the arena anytime soon.
What are they going to do? Not give us press passes? Ooh.
We don't get them anyway.
What are they
full price when I go into that rink for everything? It's a nightmare.
Okay, we're done. We're done.
But a great slice.
Love the pizza.
Tyler won't give me. Let me. But
yeah, like, I mean, what are the Oilers going to like us less? Impossible.
Too bad.
Let's keep going. Let's get back into the fun stuff. All right. We're going to be joined by Jason Demers in a couple of minutes, but let's talk a little bit, Liam. I wanted to do like kind of way too early out lineup report. It's brought to you by our friends at Wendy's. They use fresh, never frozen Canadian beef in all of their burgers, whether it's a JBC, a Dave Single, or a Baconator. God, just saying those words makes my mouth water. Yep. It's always fresh, never frozen, loaded with fresh and delicious toppings. You know what you can do? You can download the Wendy's app today to check out the latest deals. Liam, I want to dig into this Florida Panthers team a little bit.
Okay.
And Frank and I today on DFO Live, which goes live noon Eastern every single day at 10 o'clock Mountain for those watching this. That's the time zone you care about. We compared the forward groups to start, obviously. And I'm looking at this Panthers forward group, and it's interesting. The high-end talent is certainly there. Sam Reinhart is a 50 goal guy. Alexander Barkov is a premier shutdown centerman. Like, he will be a thorn in their side. Carter Verhaeghe is one of the best playoff performers we've seen over the last couple of years. When you just look at pure production and goal scoring, Sam Bennett is going to be a thorn in your side. Matthew Tkachuk, we know all the different ways that Matthew Tkachuk can swing momentum in a hockey game. But after that, there's always this conversation about how good can the Oilers' depth be, and the Panthers are this big, scary, spooky, deep team. I'm not sure how big the gap is depth-wise between these two sides, if I'm being totally honest with you.
Okay.
I think on the third line, Anton Lundell is very good. I think he's, again, a very smart hockey player. Maybe the offensive upside isn't there. I think he's better than Ryan McLeod, but not by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, if we're comparing the lineup apples to apples right now, Lundell to Henrique, give me Rico.
Yeah, the veteran approach. I like it.
Tarasenko to Kane?
Well, right now, probably Kane. I mean, both of them kind of struggled in the third round.
Both of them have really struggled at points in the playoffs.
You give me Kane.
Playoff Kane, I think, is a chance to be more impactful than playoff Tarasenko, even though when he was with the Blues, he was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's fair to say playoff Kane is better than Tarasenko overall. I think this run has been...
And Mulek says if Tarasenko wakes up and Lundell is super skilled. Yeah, like Lundell is very, very good. He's still relatively green, I think is maybe a way to put it. But on the left side of that, you have Eetu Luosterainen. Learn how to say that name. But he's really good as well. But I don't like going into Dallas. It was like, oh man, if they're healthy, they're going to be humming out a third line that is Marchment and Sagan and Duchesne and these guys who are all 20 goal guys this season and all of that. And I don't look at this Florida third line with as much fear as I looked at the Dallas third line coming into the series. And the fourth line, Kevin Stenlund, Steven Lorenz, and Kyle Okposo.
Oilers' fourth line's better.
I think it's on par. I think is a fair way to put it. I don't think Florida fans are sitting there going, wow, I'm worried about Brown, Janmark, and Carrick or Ryan, right?
Well, they haven't been watching then.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we haven't been watching a lot of Florida.
Also fun.
Yeah. I think my point is, I think the bottom six has a really good chance to break even at worst. Like, I think the upside's with Edmonton. If Holloway and Kane keep playing, if Kane can wake up, Holloway keeps playing well, Rico stays healthy, the Oilers' third line can actually be pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree. Nick Cousins isn't playing regularly for them. Did he get hurt?
He's been in and out.
In and out. Okay. So I think the Oilers' fourth line is overall better. Just looking at the stats, there's 2 goals between that fourth line, and they're both from Steven Lorenz. So advantage there for the Oilers. That third line, I think on paper looks good, but the health of Evander Kane is really going to be the dictator of it all. The second line for me is where it gets interesting. Obviously, having Leon Draisaitl there is going to boost things up, but I really would just take Corey Perry out and put Fogle there on Evander Kane. Basically, any of the 4 wingers in the middle 6, you can flip around, make it all work. So, yeah, I think you're right overall. Like, this team isn't as intimidating, I guess you could say, on paper as what the Dallas team was. And the others did a great job of shutting down guys. Duchesne, Pavelski had 0 points. Mm-hmm. Robertson had 1 big game. Wyatt Johnston was good, but not consistent. It really was just Jamie Benn that seemed to find the offense more often than not.
What do you think about the blue line as well? I mean, the top end stuff is one thing, but we obviously know the key to stopping the Oilers is stopping them in terms of their offense, right? Mm-hmm. They have some interesting players, like Forsling and Ekblad is a really, really damn good top pairing. Does that scare you as much as Harley and Heiskanen?
No, I do think the Stars blue line is probably better for the reason of
Heiskanen is the best of all of them, yeah.
Ekblad's good, don't get me wrong. Forsling's having a great run, but like Ekman Larson was a buyout candidate not that long ago. Right? Like Kulikov's is what it is. Like, I don't think it's as intimidating. I think the Oilers can match it. I do think Florida's is better than the Oilers blue line, but I don't know. Like you said, like I think the thing that people look at more with this Florida team is just like, oh, they're gonna beat you out of the arena. But one thing that people aren't talking about is that the Oilers can outscore that, and if the Oilers don't get drawn into that, then is that not advantage Oilers? Like, no one's talking about how Florida have to play the Oilers game too. It's all about how the Oilers now apparently have to switch to playing Florida's game.
Well, and also we heard that with Dallas too,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like, oh yeah, they're going to be tougher. Like this isn't going to be. And
how often did we hear it when we played the Kings? And so, Dano and Kopitar going to shut down McDavid and Draisaitl. Well, that hasn't happened yet either. I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm not underestimating what Florida are. They're obviously an elite team, but like, let's not pretend like everyone seems to want to every time the Oilers go into the next round that they shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Another thing too, I actually think that's an excellent point because there is this, they're going to grind you down. They're going to play tough. They're going to play physical. And it's leading to, questions like we got in here. Who was it? I like giving credit, but everything's going so fast. Oh, Dacky. Will Vinny draw back in, you think? See, to me, like I'm not doing that because I want the puck moving. I want to play with pace. I want to hit Florida with pace. Maybe game one will change my mind on this, but the Oilers' top players, man, it's not Marners and Pedersens, Connor McDavid isn't afraid to play physical. Leon Draisaitl isn't afraid to get in there. And they're not afraid to be nasty back. I mean, we rip Leon Draisaitl for it sometimes when he plays undisciplined. But if you want to take a run at Leon Draisaitl, you better believe at some point you are getting a stick to your spine somewhere or a whack in the soft spot on the back of the leg. And most of the time, you know what they're going to do? They're probably going to call both when he does that, especially in the Stanley Cup Final. So I'm not super worried. Would I replace Ceci with Vinny OJ? Yeah, I probably would, or I'd be open to that, but I'm not doing it for game one.
I wouldn't do it right off the bat. This team that you have right now, besides the Carrick and Ryan rotation, has won you 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
I think you ride with that, not until the wheels fall off, but until you see the right adjustment. Perry, I would look at changing, like we said. It doesn't even necessarily mean him coming out of the lineup, just moving him around a little bit. But on the question of Vinny and Ceci, like, I just don't see that much of a difference, unfortunately, for people who want to like crap on Ceci so much. I think Vinny's a very good player, don't get me wrong, but like, what are we comparing here? It's a liability either way. Ceci can skate a little bit better. His foot speed is better. I think overall speed, I guess, is more on Vinny's side, I guess we could say. But Ceci can also play with the puck. So that's an aspect of it all as well. So big boy, Ceci. He's not some little 5'9" defenseman we have. I think he's like 6'3", 6'4" too, isn't he? Maybe not quite that tall. About 5'10" your height.
I think he's 6'2". Hey, calm down. You know what I'm just piecing together as I'm kind of scrolling through and doing different things. Did you know our next 2 guests were teammates?
No. Where? San Jose.
San Jose. They would have been teammates in San Jose. So anyways, they're both former Oilers. They're both former San Jose Sharks. We're going to be joined by one, Rafi Torres, coming up in 30 minutes. Demers will swing by in a couple of minutes.
We're doing the Jason Demers gauntlet right now. We played Dallas.
Yeah.
Now we're playing Florida.
You're right.
Imagine if we had played San Jose earlier.
Well, they were just a little bit out of the playoff picture.
Slightly out, but that would have been interesting.
Bo is in. Can also expect Janmark to get feisty too. We saw that fight earlier this year.
He might be the toughest guy on the team.
Matty J? Well, Vinny.
I don't know. Like the way
and Daryl is tough too. I like Darnell.
Don't get me wrong. I get it, but like very different. But like those 2 fights Janmark had, he's just like in there right away, like unintimidated by anything.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the people about his mom.
Oh, that was so cute. So Jason Greger shared this on his Instagram. You can give him a follow there. But they were talking to Janmark today after the skate, and Janmark said, just on the run in general and the playoff atmosphere at Edmonton, it's been fun. My mom was here for the last game, and on our drive home, she recorded the entire ride home. It's something she said she'll remember forever. So a couple of things are: one, Matthias Janmark's mom being so excited that she just records the ride home. That's a compliment to you, Oilers fans, for being as nuts as you guys are. 2, the idea of Matthias Janmark winning game 6 and being like, all right, mom, let's drive home. Old minor hockey days. Would have been better actually if his mom was driving him home.
Yeah, and he had to record it all.
Yeah, he could record this. What do you think she calls him? Maddie?
No, Matthias.
You think it's full janitor? Matthias? Sure. Yeah, she calls him the janitor.
Mr. Janmark.
Release the ride footage, Janmark, says Dacky. Sure. Why not? Anyways, we'll have more from you guys in the Charm Diamond Center's YouTube chat. Also, if you have any questions for either of our next 2 guests, drop them in because we're looking for a Great Clips Q&A question. Honestly, for each of them. Let's mix it in for each of them. If you have questions for Demers or Raf, you send them in. But let's get out to the Star Mechanical guest line, Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more about them online at starmechanical.ca. Residential, commercial, 24/7 emergency services. It's all coming up. They got it all. They can do it.
Yeah, they can do it all.
Mm-hmm. Oh, before we get to Demers, actually, I want to talk about, we need an update on my guy, Red, our favorite Star Mechanical employee. Top 3.
Okay.
He is usually a Habs fan.
Top 3?
He's a top 3 Star Mechanical employee for me.
Okay.
So
top 1 for me.
So the other day, he's a diehard Montreal Canadiens fan.
Okay.
I see him pull out in his truck from his house, and he's driving, and I look and I go, hold up, he's wearing an Oilers jersey.
Whoa, trader.
He went to the game, and I text him. I said, Red, I can't believe I'm seeing you in an Oilers jersey right now. And you know what he texted me back? He said, Tyler, I'm starting to fall in love with this team more and more every single day, and I can feel the orange and blue coursing through my veins. Anyway, shout out to our guy Red. Shout out to Star Mechanical. Shout out to our boy Jason Demers, who joins us for his weekly appearance. Oil up, Jason. The Edmonton Oilers are in the Stanley Cup Final.
Did it, boys. We did it. We literally, just the way we drew it up, hang on, my phone is for some reason people are calling me, which makes no sense.
Do they not know?
They know this is my oil up time. This is my oil up time.
We're fired up right now. It's unbelievable.
Oh, I mean, just the way we drew it up. Who knew we'd be riding the penalty kill and Stuart Skinner into the finals?
Honestly, if you gave me a million guesses, that would have been my last at the penalty kill. At the start of the playoffs, that Stuart Skinner and the penalty kill would have guided us through, and our power play would have had goals in only 2 games.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's crazy. And I mean, what a testament to this group of just changing their game constantly, the coaching staff. I mean, just an incredible run by this team. And I mean, listen, we're all at fault at the network and everywhere else. I mean, we were shitting on the team, mid-season about they need to go get a goalie and at the trade deadline. And I mean, what a testament to Stuart Skinner, just kind of regrouping himself and becoming this goalie he outplayed Jake Ottinger. I mean, I talked about it. Somebody asked me, what was the big thing in that series? I was like, I mean, listen, Connor was Connor, and he did his Connor things, and so was Zach. But Stuart made more saves than Jake Ottinger, especially in that last game. I mean, that last game is a Stuart Skinner win all day.
What surprised you the most about the Dallas team in the sense of what they didn't bring to the series? Like, there was many guys who weren't getting goals. The power play was, like we said, basically nothing. And Ottinger wasn't as great as we all thought he was going to be. But was there something that stood out the most to you?
I mean, listen, I thought Dallas might have just ran out a little bit of gas. I think they had a way harder run than Edmonton did. But listen, it's the way it shakes out in the NHL playoffs. Like, you never know. You need to get those bounces, and you need to get a nice line coming through. Like, you can't just. It's hard, and it's rare that teams go through the gauntlet and win the cup. So I think they were the fresher team. And then obviously, I go back to Knobloch, just makes adjustments within the lineup constantly in the playoffs that they seem to always work out, and it's been absolutely incredible. Every time he moves a player in or out of the lineup, depth-wise, they produce. And his feel in the room and his pulse is really spot on. And then again, it's the same old, but that penalty kill, when you got a good penalty kill that's been as good as they have been, I mean, you're going to win more games than you lose. So they held on long enough for the power play to get hot, and they're off and running now.
One of the defining moments of that 6th game, again, that's the Stuart Skinner win. And we talked about yesterday about how every victory in that series had like a clear-cut hero in every game. It was Connor with the OT winner in the first win. And then in the second win, that was the big comeback. You had the Janmark shorthanded goal. Game 3, the Nuge game. Game 4 was the Skinner game. But we also had that Connor McDavid goal to kick off Game 6, and that was stunning. Was there a part of you that felt for Miro Heiskanen as you watched Connor McDavid rip him inside out?
No, I don't feel for him at all, because it happens to all of us, and he's incredible. He's an incredible defenseman, but that was just Connor being Connor, and you need players like that. He's been doing that all playoffs this year, and it's incredible what he can do with the puck, and especially just have the wherewithal to pump fake that and bring that to his backhand is just absolutely next level. And then to finish with authority like that. So, I mean, I think it's hard because Heiskanen was in a good position to block, but and the pressure down from the forward just wasn't enough. I think he needs to get a little bit stronger, but I mean, it is Connor. He's going to find a hole if you give it to him. And that's just one of those things that a big differentiator for him in the playoffs is he can do things like that where other players can't. And that's what makes his team so special to make a run for the cup.
Liam and I were talking. We haven't watched a ton of Florida Panthers hockey, even during these playoffs, been so caught up with the Oil. But you've been watching a lot of the other series. What should scare us the most about this Florida Panthers team?
I was on a call yesterday, and I was telling people the biggest thing that no one's been able to figure out is that forecheck of theirs. They hard rim every puck, and they're really hard on the forecheck. But it's going to be really a battle of the decors. I think it's going to be which decor can outplay the other one, because both offenses are potent, and it's which one's going to hold up better. I think for Edmonton, they have to be really good on their forecheck, and especially in the neutral zone, because the problem with New York and Boston is that they play a very structured game, and they kind of sit back a little bit with the third guy high. But for Florida, that kind of plays into their system because they're able to get the red line, hard rim the puck, and then get on their forecheck. So and that's kind of what got New York in trouble, what got Boston in trouble, is they just couldn't stifle them in the neutral zone. I think Edmonton needs to make sure that everybody's up and you're making them earn that red line every single time, and because that's where it's going to kind of play, is along the yellow. That's where they like to play it. But I do think Edmonton's a bigger team. They're not scared of playing physical. They're able to play mean. I don't think they're going to get pushed around. So it's just going to be how they manage that forecheck and how they can break out the puck. And because that's so important playing this Florida Panthers team. And then also their penalty kill needs to stay hot. It just is what it is. That power play has been good in Florida. So it's going to be, the classic special teams battle. And then with a little bit of mix of I think Stewart's skin's really ironed out his game, and Bobrovsky's playing great. So it's really going to come down to the decors and the chances they're limiting, and how they're getting their respective offenses on offense by breaking out the puck clean.
Yeah, that's going to be massive. And it actually ties in pretty nicely, I think, into the question we got in the inbox. Let's quickly knock out our Great Clips inbox question for the day. Over 4,000 hair salons across the United States and Canada. They're the official hair salon of the NHL. They're locally owned and operated and open 7 days a week. And your time is valuable, which is why you can take advantage of the Great Clips check-in app. See the wait time, check in on your phone, get your haircut when you want. For more information, check out greatclips.com. Great Clips, it's going to be great. Our boy Tyler Mulick is in asking this one. He wants to know, game one, do you go Broberg or Vinny in the lineup? I'll spin that into a two-parter. What have you thought of Philip Broberg since jumping into this Oilers lineup, and is he in your game one lineup?
He's been invisible in a good way. Other than his goal, he's done what a defenseman should do and get it. Not to say any indictment against Vinny, because I think Vinny's been great all year. I think he just provides a little bit of pace on the back end, and especially the third pairing is going to be the most important in this series, because after Barkov and Reinhart and Bennett, that's where Nurse and Kulak, and then obviously Ekholm and Bush are going to get the majority of the minutes. They're going to have to really dominate on that third pairing. And that's been a big issue for other teams, challenging the Panthers, is the third pairing got eaten up a little bit. So I really do think Broberg's going to have a big part in this. I do think you go with Broberg to start. I just like the way they've played. I think he looks calm. He looks confident. You need a guy that can kind of skate the puck and break out pucks clean. And then obviously if something goes awry and things get a little bit too rough, I think you can bring Vinny in. But this is really a team that can skate, and the Panthers, and they get on the forecheck. You need guys that can break the pucks out clean, because they're going to be coming all night, and Phillip's a guy that can do that. And I actually really proud of, having known the kid and seeing what he's done this year, and not getting a look and then coming in at such a high stakes moment and really playing the right way. And I love Vinny too. They're just great kids and great talents, and they both have long careers. So I think Vinny is kind of just the odd man out, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him in this series, especially if the PK falters at all. They'll bring him back in, but I just, Phillips got that smooth skating ability. He's able to carry the puck. He can close on defenders. the offense. He can create turnovers, and I just think he's played well enough where you can't pull him out now. You got to keep him in and let him see what he can do in this game one.
What do you think of the idea of keeping Corey Perry on the second line, or do you think that experiment is kind of expired now?
I foresee that there's going to be a lot of line adjustments. I don't think there's any issue, and Knobloch doesn't have an issue with changing the lines, and I think the guys are all comfortable with it. Everybody's bought in. So I wouldn't be surprised to see guys come in and out of the lineup. I other than seeing McDavid with Hyman and probably Leon with Evander. No, he's not with Evander, but either than just seeing on the odd occasion the Leon, Connor, Hyman line, I think everything's going to be up in the air depending on how the feel out of the series. It's going to be a big matchup series. How do you get Barkov away from Connor? And then obviously we're going to see in game one how they want the matchup. If they want Barkov to play against Draisaitl or if they want him against McDavid. And then I think from there, Knobloch's going to really adjust. So it's going to be an amazing chess match style finals. I think this is probably the best matchup we could get. I know Dallas would have been cool to watch them and especially the run they were on, but I just think they would have got ran over by Florida. I think Florida's just a little too tough for them. So I think this matches up really well for Edmonton if they can, if their depth can continue to produce like they have. I think it's going to be a big storyline because the depth of Florida, they roll four lines, so you can't get away from it. You have to roll four. You can't roll Connor and Leon because they're going to get tired and get worn down. But the good thing is most of this playoff series, they've played teams that roll four lines, so they're used to it, and they've had to rely on their depth because of it. So I think it's really going to be an interesting matchup. But I would start with Perry on the second, but he'll probably be up and down the lineup. He might be out one game, but I know Knobloch just kind of feels it out. And like I said, has a great heartbeat of the team, and he just kind of moves guys in and out of the lineup, and guys seem to not miss a beat.
Okay, I have one more quick one for you, then we'll let you go. Joe Pavelski today doing Dallas Stars locker cleanout day. Kind of sounds like he might be calling it a career. You were obviously a longtime teammate of Pavelski's, and man, just reading some of the stuff online we have about him, I guess the way I want to tee up for this, what made Joe Pavelski such a great player on the ice, and what made him such a beloved teammate off the ice?
I mean, just the way he practices his craft and the way he works is something that's truly remarkable. I mean, they had to stop him from going on the ice an hour early before practices when I played with him in San Jose because he'd get on the ice an hour before and chew up the ice, but he would just be working on his tips and his shots. And I mean, he's done that for 20 years playing in the league, and he's just a gamer. And obviously he's just one of those guys you want to play for, he just does everything the right way. He holds guys accountable, and you just love having teammates like that because you know what he's about, and you know that he wears his heart on his sleeve in terms of the way he plays and the way he conducts himself off the ice. So it's for you, it's easy to follow somebody like that. And obviously, I had him early on in my career. We were both youngish, and he was a little bit older than me, but to see the career he's had is truly incredible. And I mean, more power to him. I think he's earned his rest now, and I wish he would have had a good run to win the cup, but it's the way it is. It's a hard league to win a cup, and there's a lot of great players that never had one, and there's a lot of players that didn't deserve it that won cups, but it's just the way it goes. It's hockey. It's a beautiful game, but I think he's earned his rest, and he's just had a hell of a career, and really honored to have called him a teammate for so long, and rooted for him, honestly, quietly. I'm an Oil Up guy, but I rooted for him to win as well. I was torn in this series, and I think any team that won was positive for me, but it would have been nice to see Joe get one more crack at it in the final. So
the chat wants to know where you're golfing and what kind of shape your game's in.
Oh, it's tough. I'm golfing in AZ. I had like 2 days off before the finals because I'm going to be in Florida. I'll be in Edmonton too. So So we'll have to figure out a way to kind of get on. I might do a pop in, but I'm going to be in both places working with the network and doing some other stuff with the NHL. So I had 2 days to come back to Arizona to pack up. So I'm in AZ in 100-degree heat. I played 9 holes, and my game is nowhere near where I want it to be. So it's about as good as a team that's in the finals right now, because they've just been playing hockey and not worried about golf. So that's where my game is.
Yeah, we'll have to do something in person, because Liam and I are going to be down in Florida, and to tease the audience a little bit on what we got cooking up. It sounds like we might be doing our show from the lower bowl of the arena on Friday and Saturday. Around the rink. We'll see then.
I'll have to jump in, and we'll do a show from the elbow room in Florida, baby.
I was trying to explain to Liam the magic of the elbow room earlier.
Oh, it's a dump, but it's great.
It's good. All right. Well, we'll see you in Florida then. We'll save us a seat at the elbow room whenever you get there, and let's go Oil.
Let's do it. Oil up, boys. Go get it.
All right, there you go. Jason Demers off. Oh, I forgot to ask him about Rafi Torres, because we're having Rafi on in a bit. Is he still there, or did he close his window? Jason, we have Rafi Torres on. What kind of teammate was Rafi? Any stories we should throw his way? You
get Tico Torres on there, eh? The Tico, man. That guy's a killer. I had him in San Jose. I love him. He's the man. I do have stories of him, me and him together, but they're not for the podcast studio. They're for in person, where there's no cameras around. But he's one hell of a teammate. Talk about an absolute killer on the ice, and a guy you want to play for, and just a great human. Him and his family are phenomenal. I love his wife, his kids. Everybody's fantastic. So we just talked, I think, a couple weeks ago. He's trying to get me up to Toronto and wherever he lives up in the sticks there. But I'm a U.S. guy, unfortunately, at times. So I got to make my way up to Toronto at one point this summer to see him. So, but give him my best and tell him no headshots, eh? No
yeah. Okay, now we'll let you get back to the golf. Thanks, Jason.
See you, boys.
There you go. Jason Demers, former San Jose Shark, Dallas Star, Florida Panther, Arizona Coyote, and Edmonton Oiler. He ended as an Oiler.
What's crazy? So Jason Demers was a 7th round pick.
Correct.
5 years prior, they had picked Joe Pavelski in the 7th round.
That's pretty crazy.
So we're talking right now about the Oilers have got good 7th round picks, because we have Vinny and Max Wanner looks like he's going to do. They had guys who played what did Demers play? 700 games, of course. Yeah. And Joe Pavelski played over 1,000 games in the NHL.
That's crazy.
Joe Pavelski is the most points in that 2003 draft class, which is insane, because he's regarded as, I believe, the best ever.
Yeah.
When you see it that way. So credit to Joe Pavelski, an absolute crazy career. What a warrior.
Dude, the Sharks scouting for a little bit in 94, they took Nabokov in the 9th round.
Wow.
That is insane. 95, they took Mika Kiprusoff in the 5th round of that year's draft. Matt Bradley played 675 games as a 4th rounder for them. That is also wild. Where are the other ones here? Michael Samuelson, you remember him, 699 games. He was a 5th rounder of the Sharks. Douglas Murray, D-man, 8th round pick. Played 518 games. Ryan Clough was a 6th rounder, 491 games. Christian Ehrhoff was a 4th rounder.
And all those guys played on the same team.
Yeah.
Wild. No wonder they had so much success for so long. It's a similar thing to the Tampa Bay Lightning, right? Where you find these guys from here, there, and everywhere, but 8th and 9th round picks.
Sorry, bear with me. I'm so far down the rabbit hole now. 2007 draft, their final 3 picks, 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. Nick Bonino, Justin Braun, Fraser McLaren.
Wow.
That's a good run. And then the next year was Tommy Wingles in the 6th, Demers in the 7th.
Tommy Wingles played some.
He's good. Yeah, he played 450 games.
There you go. That's pretty solid.
They took Colin Blackwell. Dylan DeMello was a 6th rounder of theirs.
Really?
Sean Corrali was a 5th rounder of theirs.
Kevin LeBanc, a little more recent, 6th round pick. Yeah. Almost 500 games.
Damn. Well, Sharks are good at drafting. I think it's what we've learned today.
They shouldn't screw up this year's draft either.
No, I think it's pretty easily to walk up and take Macklin Celebrini with
who?
With your 1st round pick.
Oh, the Canucks fan.
Yeah.
Oh no, he thinks a gas stick.
What else should we do? Oh, we forgot that. Sorry, ML. I didn't get this one. Jason, do I have your blessing to buy an Oilers jersey with your name and number on it? He probably would love it.
And then in the elbow room, whatever that is.
If you get it and you drop it off at the office, if we do it in person with him, we'll get him to sign it for you. That'd be funny. So if you buy it, I'll do my best to make that happen for you.
I'll help.
Yeah, Liam will help. The Elbow Room is just like this. It's this rundown dive bar in Florida,
loves it.
but it's where everyone goes. So, I was down there for All-Star last year, right?
Yeah, sit on the beach with your beers, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Watch the night go away.
But the one night we were at the Elbow Room, dude, it was like, I don't get starstruck a lot, but when it's like midnight and you're watching and just looking across the room at Keith Brady and Matt Tkachuk all shirtless drinking beers, it's a little bit like, this is a pretty wild place. At one point, just like a black Escalade pulls up, and I'm like, wonder who's going to be in there. PK Subban just got out of the Escalade, did like 2 laps around the bar, and then just got back in and drove, and like the car sped off.
Whoa.
The Elbow Room's a magical place.
I'm on their website. They have a live streaming, live band cam, live bar cam, live beach cam, live patio cam. That's crazy.
Don't watch.
Why? And yeah, don't watch. Don't watch that. All right. Shall we keep cruising along on the show? Oh, ML lives in Winnipeg. Damn.
Drafted Charlie Coyle. I did not know that.
Oh, and they traded him. Was he in the Burns
He
deal?
was. Devin Setaguchi,
Great pull.
Charlie Coyle, and Zach Phillips to Minnesota for Brent Burns and former Edmonton Oiler Pontus Aberg.
Oh.
I don't think he ever
Pope
played
Pontus.
a game for San Jose.
Yeah, probably
No,
not.
he didn't. What a trade tree that is.
All right. What else do we have
Oh,
to
that
get
one
to
lives
today?
on. Evan Rodriguez is in the Pontus Aberg trade tree.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually a huge little trade tree.
Why was that trade so complicated?
Barry
Anyways.
Kapanen was something.
All right. Okay, we got a little bit going on here in the chat that I want to talk about. So let's dig into the Charm Diamond Center's YouTube chat. You can get a custom ring built and delivered in 4 weeks or less through the Charm Masterpiece program. You can trust me. I have done it. The ring turned out beautifully. Amber is still happy somehow, miraculously with me. So that's great. CharmDiamondCenters.com. Check out their large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds, mine diamonds, and you don't pay until 2025 with their instant in-store financing. OAC, CharmDiamondCenters.com. Couple comments. Mark is in. Nobbs snub for the Jack Adams. Winning the cup as a rookie head coach will be his revenge. Yeah, I mean, I saw a bunch of you guys talking in the chat about the fact that he wasn't included in the Jack Adams finalists. I think he finished 5th in voting for the award.
So,
That's a weird one for me. One, it's a regular season award, right? So you can't look at it now with the playoff success and be like, come on. Yes, they were the best team in the NHL once he took over. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. I think the dings against him, and I think it's part of the reason Jay Woodcroft didn't win Coach of the Year either last year, because he, in my opinion, was deserving of it. Having Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl automatically takes away, right? Also for Knobloch, this is an award, much like MVP, much like I compared to the Cy Young in baseball too. You need to have a narrative going early for you, and then you need to sustain the narrative.
yeah.
Rick Tocchet had the benefit of his narrative starting last year. He took over that team. They started to play better down the stretch. He said all the right things in the media. And in training camp this year, it was like, if the Canucks make the playoffs, Rick Tocchet is a Coach of the Year finalist.
Yeah.
Before the puck had even dropped. So what happens? They go wire to wire and win the Pacific. It's a great accomplishment. Look how far it got them. And that narrative just never had a chance to die off. There was no reason not to vote for Rick Tocchet, I think, is kind of why he ultimately held on.
Yeah, I think that's right. I also think the other two candidates on there weren't worthy of it, though. What was it? Brunette and Bonus, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think either of those guys should have been candidates.
Yeah, Brunette's weird for me because it's like Nashville was close to being a playoff team a year ago.
And Winnipeg was a playoff team last year.
Yeah.
Like, it should have been.
And like Winnipeg,
Knobloch, just feel like this narrative was
I do agree. If I would have had a ballot, I don't, not a professional hockey writer. If I would have had a ballot, I probably would have had Knobloch at 2 or 3 behind Torts and Tocchet.
Yeah, Torts just kind of
Just
fell off near the end.
well,
But he did a great job.
Like, they were supposed to be a dumpster fire.
Yeah. And they obviously had a lot of storylines go negatively against them. The Carter Hart one being one, and then
They lost their starting goalie halfway
know,
through the year.
obviously sitting your captain probably didn't help him with stuff. I think I actually did build on the narrative of Tortorella a little bit too much, but whatever. What's that guy in Washington called?
Spencer Carberry.
He could have been a candidate.
Mhm.
It's good.
I like that you say what's he called, not what's his name.
Oh, what's he called?
It makes sense.
It's
When
the
you think
same
about it.
difference.
I guess.
Tomato.
Mulek,
potato.
Demers in person, and then he said next week ONE is going to be unreal. Well, I'm very much hoping it's unreal. I'd love to line up a bunch of in-person guests. Like we know Gaz is coming in with Sportsnet. He teased that yesterday. So we know Gaz is coming in with Sportsnet. We know Demers is coming in with the NHL Network.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we'll get those two on the couch. Again, I don't like making promises because we burned everyone with the Cassian thing twice.
No, we did not burn them. He burned us.
He burned us, I know. But we know Witt's in town.
Oh, boy.
We know who he's coming with. It's my dream.
I know. It's my...
Spam him. Tweet him.
I would lose my mind if we were able to get those two in the office. I'll lose my mind if we're able to get those two on the show. But we know Witt's in town. That would be obviously electric, and we've been talking to him a little bit, so I like keeping everyone in the loop with what we're going on. We also have this great Google Doc right now of just like all these phone numbers from the 06 team that we're just like spam texting them. It's great. So we're grinding.
We're grinding away. We're trying to get some people on here.
All right. Our next guest is going to be a Boston Pizza playoff report. Edmonton is right there, 4 wins away from ending a Stanley Cup drought that has gone on for 30 years. Also, what the hell is going on in our... Anyways, I'll stay focused.
They're taking Kennedy as a printed out photo that Waz has to hold that says, I work for Oilers Nation and I picked the Dallas Stars to win in 6.
Well, Waz should be publicly shamed because he was not teaming up for the win. Shout out to our friends at Boston Pizza. It's past a Tuesday at BP's. Liam and I are going to be at the airport tomorrow night. Maybe a little Wing Wednesday action at the airport.
That'd be unreal.
Shout out to Boston Pizza. Should I yell at the people outside? Hey, we're doing an interview in here. Calm down. This is an important interview because the Oilers have not been to the Stanley Cup Final since 2006, and that is when Raffi Torres was running around, running people over, scoring big goals. Raffi Torres joins us now on Oilers Nation Everyday. Raffi, welcome to the show. Excited to have you on.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
I loved when you were in town firing up the crowd at the arena a couple games ago. What do you make of the vibe at New Rogers Place, and how does it compare to Rexall in 06?
Well, listen, the vibe is great. The town, the fans, it's just so electric, and it's nice to get the blood going and to see the feelings that are coming out and all the the memories, the amazing memories that Edmonton brought to us in 06 and to the town and stuff. Really, really, really nice to be back in Edmonton. I was able to have my daughter, my son, and my wife with me, which was amazing. And they've never been to obviously there's Toronto here, but Toronto hasn't been to something like that in a while. But just being in my daughter looking around like, wow, this is insane. The whole city is going crazy right now. And I'm just like, hey, this is how it was in 06. And, it was a special feeling. It's a great chance for this, for the city to take over the country and really do something special here.
I just want to go on the crowds. I think we can all agree Game 6 against Dallas wasn't exactly a masterpiece by the Oilers, but they got across the line. But one thing I felt is that the fans played such a huge part in that game to will the Oilers across the line. During that run in 06, was there ever a moment where maybe it wasn't going your guys' way, but the crowd was just so electric it helped you get across the line?
I tell everybody in 06, I have permanent ear damage on my left ear just from skating out onto the ice. And 100%. The fans jumping in there and getting the team going, and you know what? You're not going to play your best, throughout the whole series. It's or the whole playoffs, and not say it's 2 months of every other day going back at it. You need the help from the fans. I was a big, I fed off the crowd, so and it didn't really take a goal or anything like that. Maybe a block shot. Finishing a hit, getting the puck deep, electric, fans in Edmonton know what they're screaming for, know what they're yelling for. They love that blue collar type, lunch pail type player. And, for me, it was great. It was able to feed off that. Right.
So who gives you those kind of vibes on the Oilers right now? Is there a player who you watch? You're like, man, this is a fan favorite in Edmonton. This is what Oilers hockey's about.
Hey, listen, I love Ekholm. I know he's been taking a lot of heat, Nursey, but Nursey's he does a lot of good stuff out there, something that can't go unnoticed. And I like Connor Brown. I think he's played some really, really, probably the best hockey of his career at some of these games lately. It's nice to see, but You know what? It's a great opportunity for these guys that come in. I just go to bed right now. I'm just, oh man, just the feelings that I had going into, you know, the night before, leading up to the Stanley Cup Finals. What a great atmosphere, and what a great time to be a hockey player, and especially in Edmonton. So really excited for these guys, and there are guys that are going to step up, and they have been all along the way. Obviously, I think if they're going to do something special, your best players have to be your best players, just from my experience. The role players can do their part, but listen, McDavid won that game for them. I thought even it was a flat game, but there's no one in the world that can score that first goal like he did, and just willed their way to a win.
I think that's obviously really interesting. Another thing right now, Oilers are off for 5-6 days before game one, and you guys in 06 obviously had that really long gap as well. If you could give a piece of advice to someone on the team right now of what's the best way to handle this extended gap ahead of game one, what would that be?
Rest is a weapon. Like, people don't understand that. Like, we had some time off going in the Stanley Cup Finals, and then I think there was another one. I think it might have been after the first series to Detroit. I think there's a few days off there. Now, we were celebrating like we already won the cup after every series win, but now's the time for them to rest up, go through the game, and really and really kind of run through the video. What are we going up against? Florida ain't going to be no joke, right? We know that they play hard, and they're an in-your-face type hockey team. And but nothing the Oilers are. I don't think that they can handle. Right? Let your game, let your experience, and let your the knowledge of the homework that you've been doing over the last few days take over.
Yeah, I think that's fair. When you look at this year's version of the team, and I got a couple more 06 questions because I'm reading our chat right now and it's blowing up and they want me to ask you so many 06 things. So I promise the chat will get to some of those questions, but just one more on this year's team. You've seen them up close a little bit now. You've been following the run. What's been the most impressive part of this, as kind of a blanket question? What part of this team's game kind of leaves you sitting there going, wow, this is really special the most?
I think it's got to be special teams with these guys. You have Draisaitl, you have McDavid, Bouchard. These guys are, we're going to be talking about these guys for the next 50 years, what they're doing out there. And you saw a couple times there, I think it only took them, less than 20 seconds a couple times to get a power play goal. It's dangerous, right? And playing against a team like that, when you're the opposing team, knowing that you gotta, you want to play in your face, you can't take minutes because games on that, right? And then the PK is just outstanding to me. It's they're making it hard for the team to enter the zone. They're driving those guys down the wall. It's hard to make plays when you got your back to the players, right? You can only use the boards and you can only make those seam passes so much. But I think the Oilers special teams they're having that in the back of their pocket. They have to take advantage of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a question written down here, and it was, what would you describe as your personal big moment during that playoff run? But we got a comment who wanted me to ask you about your goal specifically in Game 6, and if you can still kind of remember that feeling, and obviously the celebration you had that was honestly iconic amongst Oilers fans.
Listen, like I said, it was at that point in my career, I'm an established NHL player. I've already won the Stanley Cup 1 million times in my basement down in Markham, Ontario, but now you're doing it for real, right? And, just to get so close and to get where we were on a team that, not too much was expected of us. We had some big names, but didn't really come together late as a group. And to be able to score a goal in the Stanley Cup Finals, listen, I wanted to jump in the 15th row when that happened. And it's not necessarily the prettiest thing or this and that, whatever. It's more about getting to the dirty areas of the ice and willing to do whatever it takes, right? And I think that's the message. You see a lot of these goals that are scored now. It's not tic-tac-toe, wow, fancy dancy. It's like, blue nose, hard nose. Get your ass to the front of the net. Something goes off the body or your stick, and that's where you want to play the game. You got to get to the hard areas of the ice, and to be able to score a goal in Game 6 like that, special feeling for me, right? And something that I truly relive in my day-to-day thing going back.
Yeah, that was I still remember that one as well. Like obviously I was real young during the 06 run, but I remember being at the game 6 of that cup final. I remember spending the first 5 minutes with my hands over my ears because it was so loud in that building. And then the place goes absolutely bananas when you bury that one. We got another one in here that wants to know, off the ice, was there a moment that stands out to you from that run? Maybe a moment of a ride home, like we heard Matthias Janmark talking about how he drove his mom home after the game 6 the other day, and his mom recorded the entire way home because she couldn't believe how wild the streets were. Off the ice, do you have a memory from that 06 run that stands out? Maybe a first moment where you're like, wow, this is special what we're doing.
Absolutely, and it's pretty much hitting on that one that you just noted there. We're flying back from, I think it was the second series in I think it was San Jose or whatnot, from the airport all the way back to like Jasper Ave. We had multiple cars and flags honking horns at us. Stoley and I are in the Range Rovers cruising down. We're like, what is going on here, man? This is insane. I've never experienced anything in my life before. And people need to realize that, Oiler fans, listen, I'm not just saying that because, I played there, this and that, whatever. I played on 7 teams, okay? And nothing compares to Oiler fans hockey. These people, they know the game, right? They're going to back you up. They're going to do whatever it takes to support you. And you have to ride that. You have to just, for me, that was I didn't even need to warm up before the game because I was like, oh, once I hear the fans going, done. My body's warm and ready to go. That's how insane that these guys can get. So, like I said, I'm really excited for this Oiler team to watch and just to be a part of what could be a special couple weeks coming up here.
Yeah, could be. Oilers fans obviously love you. Our chat's been blowing up. Nathan, Raph, you signed an Oilers mini stick for me 10 years ago. Of course you remember that. That's a good one. Vamp is in and says, can Raffy be ready to start on the 8th? We need someone to take care of Matt Tkachuk. I mean, if you were out there, I don't think Tkachuk would be a big problem.
Listen, I would love to play in my prime against a guy like Tkachuk today. He's an in-your-face type hockey player. He goes all to what can you not say about this guy that he's accomplished? I have a lot of respect for a player like that backs it up. Put the puck in the net, plays in all areas of the ice. But man, I would love to play against a guy like that back in my day. It'd be a challenge for me, and it'd be I know it'd be a challenge for him. But it would definitely be a lot of fun for me to play against a guy like that.
I got a couple more in here for you because I promised the chat I'd read a few more. Everyone's seeing the tats. Jay wants to know, do you have any Oilers tats? We had Zach Haskin on the other day. He had an oil drop tattoo.
All right. No, listen, unfortunately, I don't have any Oiler tats. A lot of my tattoos are stuff that has to do with my wife and my kids, all meaningful stuff. Not to say that Oilers wouldn't be, wasn't meaningful. It was a big time in my life, a great 4.5, 5 years of my life. But listen, if there was any hockey related, tattoo that I would get, probably be an oil drop somewhere.
I love it. Okay, one more, and we're going to make this one our Great Clips inbox question. Again, more than 4,400 hair salons throughout the United States and Canada. Check them out, greatclips.com. Look and use the Great Clips check-in app to see the wait time. Check it on your phone. Get your haircut when you want. Great Clips, it's going to be great. I thought this one was really creative. It came in from Brendan. He says, ask Raffy if he could bring one player from this year's Oilers and put them back on that 06 team to help you guys out. Who would it be? But his preface was, it can't be McDavid or Draisaitl. So we want you to get into the weeds and think a little bit.
Wow, good question. Jesus. Listen, you know what? It's tough to say. I like I said, I have a lot of respect for guys like Connor Brown and Holloway and the way they play like that. Unfortunately, we did have a lot of those players on type players on our team back in the day. You know what? Listen, we lost Rolison in game 1. If I could go back and do it all over again, if we have Skinner in that final series, we're winning that series. So, good for him. Skinner's gone through a lot. He's missed the one game that I think that the other goalie Picard came in and did a job. Sometimes you have to learn from it's good to watch from up top and see what's going on and look at him now. He's just thriving right now. And if you have a solid goaltender, we lost Rolison in game 1 there. If we don't lose Rolison, it's good. You could obviously say, yeah, we'll shoulda, coulda, woulda. We would have won that series. But ultimately, like I said, I think it would have to be Skinner, right? You got to have that solid goaltending, and he's doing his part, and he's learned from what he had to learn from, and expect big things out of him in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, I love the love for the local boys too.
Right.
I don't have any more questions, but my dad has been texting me the whole time we've been doing this. And this is not a question. This is just a pure statement. I grew up in England. My parents came over here. They turned on the radio. There was an Oilers game on. This was 2005-06, somewhere around there. And you were the first player's name he ever heard that was an Edmonton Oilers. So he wanted to let you know he's been following you, and you're one of his favorite players to play in the NHL. So there you go.
Great.
There you go, Dad.
I appreciate that. And I always have a lot of respect for my fans. Obviously, the way things ended with my career, I didn't, it was uncontrollable for me. I was going through some injuries, battled some suspensions, stuff like that. I always have a lot of love and respect for the people that actually remember my type game, that I was able to, at my time, be one of the top guys and help out and do his part for his team. That's nothing but love for that. I appreciate that.
Any plans for you to be back in Edmonton for a Cup Final game?
We're thinking about it. If I do come out, like I said, I already came out with my with the whole family. If I do come out, it'll probably just be my wife and I. We'd love to come probably watch a game. Whether it works for us schedule wise here, we got kids that are 14 and 11, and it's either she's the Uber driver or I'm the Uber driver. But a lot of stuff going back here. But listen, if we can make it work, we'd love to come out. If it doesn't happen, we'll be watching definitely for sure. So let's go Oilers.
Awesome, love it, Rafi. We'll end it on that. Appreciate your time, man.
Hey, anytime, guys. I appreciate you having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, Rafi Torres. 06 legend, Oilers legend, Rafi Torres, and the chat just absolutely on fire as well, which I love when you guys show the support to the guests we get to. That's great.
Yeah,
and great story there with your
yeah, it is a cool one. He didn't know any hockey players at that point, so there you go. Rafi Torres is the guy. I remember when I lived there in 07 as well, right after the Cup run. Rafi Torres, my friend Luke was always like, we have to have Rafi Torres on our NHL 2K17. We need that toughness. We need someone a little different. So I always put him on a line with Joe Thornton when I made my little fantasy teams. And Jonathan Chichu.
Oh, yeah, Chichu.
Yes,
Recency bias. That was one of my favorite interviews we've done.
Oh, my God. His energy was
incredible.
unbelievable. Yeah.
My shoe fell off.
Here, even just seeing
socks off.
Yeah, blew Liam's shoes off. Even just seeing the way he lit up when we were asking him about his goal in 06 and things like that. And
cool.
You can also tell he's watching the team. He didn't give us some McDavid answer or whatever. You can tell he's dialed in right now. He's in on this run, which is so good to see. Listen, it is a compliment to Oilers fans, 1,000%. But the amount of guys we have on, or the amount of guys we talk to who were Oilers for one game, like Jason Demers, or who played on 7 teams like Rafi, who their favorite team is still the Oilers.
It's a legit passion.
Yeah, the organization treats their players great and all that. But every organization treats their players pretty great. You don't fall in love with the team like that unless you're falling in love with the fan base, which is what absolutely the vibe I got from Raf.
And guess what other team he played for? The
Thank
Canucks. And he likes it better. Shocker. But in all seriousness, it is cool. We saw Zach Cassian come in here as well and say the same thing. Just coming here from the fans who go to the airport and greet them as they come, that is dedication, and it's just cool, And that's another thing too, that video, just to bring it back a little bit, from McDavid yesterday, and then you see all this stuff on Twitter. It's this is why people leave. It's no, it's because the team was terrible for so long. Is why the people really leave. It's moments like that are just one in a million. What real Oilers fans are about, what make players want to be here.
Yep. All right, let's keep cruising along. Let's do our Stingers tickets giveaway. AB is going to the game tonight. You can sit next to him if you want. And here's what we're going to do. If you're watching the show, and again, make sure you can go to the game. I don't want the seats to obviously go unused or empty. Tip-off tonight is at 7 o'clock between the Edmonton Stingers and the Vancouver Bandits. Stingers looking to keep going to a perfect 5-0 start to this season, taking on a Bandits team that is, what are the Bandits this year? 3-1, so it should be a great game tonight. They've added talent. They got a former NBA first-round pick, Jacob Evans III, who played 2 years for the Golden State Warriors. Tickets start at $20. Parking is free. Unbelievable. There's a $5 food and beer menu. Unbelievable. For tickets, go to thestingers.ca. And if you want to win, and you can go to the game tonight at 7, comment Stingers in the chat, and we will we'll do a draw here before the end of the show. So again, got to be able to attend the game, but put Stingers in the chat, and we will do a draw with a couple of lucky listeners. What?
So the Bang guy scheduled a tweet and didn't unschedule his tweet. It says, Game 7, this is it. A trip to the Stanley Cup Final tonight. I'm ready. Are you? Hashtag Texas Hockey. Hashtag Bang. And then it's a picture of his suit for the game.
Why the fuck would you schedule that tweet? In what world are you like, well, Game 7, it'll be on this day. I'll be way too busy to send a tweet. What an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's the brightest guy.
The sharpest tool in the shed is the great Smash Mouth.
No. All right.
So how are we giving these tickets away?
I got a wheel here and I'm putting names in.
Oh, you're okay.
And
AB's
we'll
got
do
it
all on the screen.
Okay. Oh, wow. We're going to put it on the screen. Yeah. Just grab as many of the names as you can. I really didn't think that through.
We can get the wheel on the screen.
Well, AB can put it
all
up.
This time I've been turning my laptop around.
Yeah, it actually doesn't make a lot of sense that we haven't thought of this earlier. Yeah, well, anyway.
I did it recently and I was like, oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. How many people are in?
I've got 7.
7. All right. Well,
Lucky
you.
Number oh, did you get Kevin North in?
That 8.
Kevin North, you're the final guy.
Okay. All right. And then while AB is getting that set up, we're going to do a little thing for our friends over at Betway where you can win a $200 free bet if your first bet loses. How about that? That is banging. Simply place a bet with no minimum amount required. And if the bet loses, you'll get a refund up to $200. You can then use that money to bet on your favorite sports. This offer only available outside of Ontario. You're asking, Tyler, how do I get in? How do I open an account? Well, you scan the QR code that is on your screen right now. Okay, here is what we got. I'm taking a look. We're not going to talk about game 1. We're still going to be looking a little bit at the futures market here between the Oilers and Panthers, and they do have a lot of player specials. There are, Liam. So they basically broke it down. You can bet on guys to score 3 or more goals, 4 or more goals, 5 or more goals, 6 or more goals, 7, all the way up to 7 or more goals. But I want to start with the bare minimum today, 3 or more goals. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 Oilers who are plus money or better to score 3 or more goals in this series. They are Kane, 5-1, Nuge, 5-1, Bouchard, plus 525, or Henrique, plus 650. Do one of them stand out to you as most likely to go over 2.5 goals?
Huge.
Yeah.
Power play, playing in the top 6 consistently. A couple of chances on the penalty kill, perhaps. We don't usually see him on a breakaway, but he's out there on the ice. Like, Nuge is for me. What did you say it was? Plus 550?
Plus 500, which is really, really good. Actually, 5-1 on Nuge. The reason I like Evander Kane in this one is because he's the hat trick god. Yeah. And it's like, he might just do that in one game and you're laughing.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
His injury worries me a little bit.
Yeah.
It sounds like he'll be okay.
Yeah, and this 5 days off should help him a little bit. Putter says, nah, you go Boosh. Mistaken Mexican goes Boosh. Ryan S. says Nuge. Connor McDavid's only minus 106 in this one.
To score 3 or more?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll send you $25.
That might be worth a dabble. When you go up to 4 or more is where it gets a little juicy. You can get Leon Draisaitl at plus 250 or more for Big Leon.
I don't mind that. That's probably the only one I would go to.
Yeah. The risk with this is obviously if the Oilers make it a short series. But again, if the Oilers make it a short series, like in the 4 wins, I could see Draisaitl scoring 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah, I guess if it is going to be quick, those stars are going to have to be.
Mm-hmm. But then maybe the flip side of that is if you like Draisaitl to score 4 or more, maybe you just go Draisaitl 7-1 Conn Smythe. And he might be my Conn Smythe pick right now.
Yeah, that's an interesting debate, isn't it? I know we talked about it the other day. I think it's Boosh. I think if McDavid has a big finals and the others win, of course, then it's going to be McDavid.
That's fair.
Do you know, I heard something on the radio today, and
did you hear?
It made me sway my opinion. So, a lot of great players have won the Stanley Cup, and a lot of good ones have missed it. Guys like Joe Thornton, again, like maybe this was a podcast, I can't remember. But like those guys never won. But like McDavid isn't one of those guys. So it just makes me wonder, like, that's giving me more belief that the Oilers are going to be able to get this done. It's like he is going to be one of the greatest players ever. And they win.
Well, and like, again, a lot of the comments, and sometimes they weren't deserved. Like when Ovi was going through it, he was putting up numbers.
Yeah.
The team around him couldn't get it
Guys
done.
like Semin were literally on them rounds without goals.
Yeah. And the thing with McDavid and Draisaitl is, even though this is their first Stanley Cup final, they are already one or two of the best playoff performers we've ever seen in NHL history.
Yeah.
Fastest to 100 playoff points since literally Mario and Wayne.
Yeah. It's incredible what they're able to
They're
do.
goats.
So, yeah, totes my goats. They go.
That was actually a decent goat noise,
That
wasn't
was
it?
pretty good.
That was all right.
Good. Sounded just like McDavid.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's give away these Stingers tickets before we wrap up the show. AB, we got the prize wheel.
Yep. Give me
See how-
uno momento.
Let's see how this looks. I like that we try things on the fly.
Yeah, this will be interesting.
yeah.
So,
Okay, there it is. Spin that wheel.
Oh,
Oh wow, this is intense. Who's going? Putter?
Putter?
Oh, shit.
not rigged this way.
Yeah,
You saw it.
yeah,
You
we
saw
saw
it.
the wheel. All right, Mulek, email me and I'll get you hooked up with your tickets. You're going to watch the Stingers tonight with our boy AB, and they're actually pretty good.
Uh-oh.
They're actually pretty good seats too. They gave us great seats to give away to you guys because we love the Stingers. Stingers love us. They also gave me this sweet shirt.
I have a
Edmonton
great hat.
Stingers
Did my
basketball.
gardening in it yesterday.
Very good.
Planted some tomatoes, some cucumbers.
Enjoying our downtime.
Well, as we got it,
Mm-hmm.
because we are out of here pretty quick.
Well, so Thursday we don't land. No, we should be able to do our show Thursday at a normal time. So our programming.
Yeah, we'll have a quick nap after.
Mhm. Our programming note for Friday will be this.
Okay.
So we're obviously going to have a chance to go interview a bunch of Oilers down at Media Day. We're credentialed. We're ready to go. It sounds like we're going to be able to do our show from the lower bowl, potentially while the Oilers practice, because we then need to be off the air by the time media avails start. So Friday's show might start an hour early.
We'll let you know. But if you miss it, you can also go back and watch. There's always that. You can start it at noon if you want as well.
Yeah, you can do that. But I think the live portion of the show will start an hour early.
Okay.
On Friday. Thursday should be regularly scheduled programming. And then we are going to have shows on Saturday and Sunday. We're just going to roll. It's the Stanley Cup Final. We want to talk to you guys every day. This is going to be the best 2.5 weeks of our lives. Why would we not go live every single day to do it? Talk about it. And of course, pregame, postgame shows after every game with Aaron as well. Like, we're going to be loaded up. We're going to be ready to go. We'll get some more guests going your guys' way as the series shifts to Edmonton. We're going to have some great in-person guests, I think. So, straight up, giddy up.
Pedal to the metal. We know where the finish line now is.
Mm-hmm.
Just go, go, go.
Yep, without a doubt. Okay, that a wrap? We're good? We didn't miss anything, did we?
Let me check the script.
We're good.
No, looks
We
like
hit
we
all our
made it
ad
to
reads.
the bottom.
We're also going to be going back out to our friends at Sherwood Ford in a little bit, but just a quick shout out to Sherwood Ford, the Giant. It's a long week without a Sherwood Ford Giant game day edition of the show, and maybe this is when you just make sure your vehicle's in tip-top shape, right? You go, make sure your oil change is good. If you haven't switched your tires yet, go hit up Sherwood Ford, the Giant. Do that. Mobile service van, the valet service, they make it all so painless to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape. One of the many benefits of using Sherwood Ford, the Giant as your next dealership. And listen, I always feel cool rolling around in the Nation truck. When I'm rolling around in that big orange and blue F-150 and I'm seeing all the Oilers car flags and people are waving and honking, it's a great feeling. Shout out to our friends at Sherwood
I
Ford,
can't
the
wait for DJ Bean to experience that.
I am so committed to picking up DJ Bean from the airport in the Nation truck. I am very excited to do that. It'll be great.
That will be good.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's a wrap on today's edition of the show. Big shout out to everyone in the chat. You were great. Shout out to Rafi Torres and Jason Demers for swinging by as well. Guess what? We're doing the show again tomorrow, noon Mountain Time. We'll see you then.
Thank you for watching Oilers Nation Every Day. Hit the subscribe button to never miss a show. And for more, visit OilersNation.com.